is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, which you probably are because everyone is new here, I'm so happy to have you here today. Please stick around. This is the third installment of Get the Most Out of Your Palette. This will be the third and most dramatic look that I come up with using the Kathleen Lights and Colourpop Dream Street palette. I've been having a ton of fun working with this thing. So far we've done something very natural, we've done something very smoky and sultry. Today I think we are going to start diving into some of the brighter, more vibrant colors in this palette. And I think I'm going to try and incorporate every shade that I haven't used so far. For the most part, I think after this video, we are going to have used every single shade in this palette. Please excuse the toque situation. My hair is in between washes right now. It was very exciting. I got my new Desert Bus t-shirt in the mail. Yeah, Desert Bus. This is my first Desert Bus t-shirt because it was the first Desert Bus I was able to participate in. My boyfriend, who you might know online as Andy Cowden, he has done a lot of writing and a lot of sketch work for loadingreadyrun, who is the company who started Desert Bus for Hope, which is a charity to raise money for Child's Play and also more recently women's shelters. I was able to go there for a couple days and they definitely used me to my fullest potential, which I was so grateful for. They let me sing a bunch of songs. If you want, you will be able to see all of the singing that I did on Desert Bus, which is what I do as a profession. That is my thing. I sing and I dance and I act, so if you want to know more about what I do in the time that I'm not filming and doing these videos for you, then definitely go check that out. Anyway, the reason I don't have my base on to start this video off, I figured since the majority of these shades I've experienced a lot of fallout with, I thought today we would try something that I've never done before, which is doing my eyes first, which seems really like, you know, logical, but we're going to try today because I think it's going to go a lot more smoothly this way, especially with that teal matte shade. It is very pigmented and has a lot of kickback, so I think that's how we're going to start today's video. Is we're going to do eyes first and then I will do my base and then we will pull everything together in the end. Let's get started. Before I go any further, if you have no idea what this is about and what we are doing with this series, I would urge you please to go back to my first video in this series. I will leave a link to the entire playlist up here as well as in my description box below. I went ahead and carved out my eyebrows with concealer off camera. Today we are going to prime our eyes a little differently. I'm going to bring back one of the first products that I ever purchased when I was trying to really get myself into makeup, and that is my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. I saw Nikki Tutorials use this and she said it was the best primer for your eyelids, so I went and bought it. However, it does actually work for me. My lids are very veiny and they have a lot of blue still peeking through the concealer even when I use Tarte Shape Tape on my lids. Like, you can still see right here where I've like put my concealer, my veins just pop right out. It's actually been kind of interfering with my eyeshadow lately, so I thought I would go back to this today and give it another shot. Plus I want to use it up. Let's see if this combats the blue in my veiny eyelids today. Plus we're doing a really colorful pigmented look today. We want to get the most color payoff possible, and maybe this will help us out with that. You let me know in the comments if you think the paint pot helped the look at all, because you've seen me do a couple looks now without it. Is there any other use for a paint pot? I have no idea. I've only ever seen it used for primer. Someone let me know if they actually use theirs for like another thing that I could maybe like get another use out of this product. Eyelids are definitely feeling tackier. When I was really young, I had parents thinking that I had put eyeshadow on when I was like 3 or 4. I had parents going, "Are you wearing makeup right now?" And I was like 4 and I was like, "No, why?" They're like, "Your eyelids are so blue." And I don't normally do this either because I usually go in with just my loose setting powder and concealer before I do my eye looks. Today we're just gonna put down a shade that goes all over the lid to help us transition everything else. We're gonna take the shade Magical right here, which is just a matte peachy shade. I think it'll be the perfect overall base for our look today because I think I'm gonna use that coral as a transition shade. So I'm gonna pick that up on this MAC brush that is totally worn out. I have no idea what it's called anymore. It was like one of the first brushes I ever bought, like with my own money. It is old as fuck, but it works well for packing matte shades onto the lid. So I'm just gonna do that all over today. And it might be too dark for the purpose it is serving, but I think it'll work. Okay, next we are going to dip right into this bright peachy coral shade, which I believe is called Spark. Pretty sure it's Spark. And we're gonna use that to transition with today. I find it interesting though, it is one of those shades that's kind of doesn't sort of correspond with the rest of the colors in the palette. I mean, it looks really pretty next to the teal. I don't know if it's actually practical for the overall color scheme of this palette. You'd expect this palette then to have, you know, something to transition into this corally pink, but no, you just get some cool toned browns and some taupes and a teal. But I kind of like the idea of taking this warm corally shade and making it transition into the teal. This could definitely turn into a huge disaster, as always on my channel. This might ruin everything. I might have to start this video all over again. I think I'm going to take this teal shade on the outer portion of my lid. And this could be a giant mistake. This is my grounding shade. This is the one that I know is called Water Bearer. I think I'm gonna take my mirror though and get real close. I know this is a super pigmented shade, so I'm gonna try and tap off as much excess as possible.
Oh, this could have been a mistake.
Doesn't seem to want to stay packed on the lid. That could just be error on my part though. My lack of technique. Take a clean blending brush and try and buff that out. So what I inevitably ended up doing on this eye off camera, which took a lot less time, instead of packing on the lid first and then blending out the crease, I did the exact opposite and I took a small tiny amount of Water Bearer on my smaller taper blending brush, blended it lightly out in the crease first, and then I took my packing brush and packed on the rest of the lid, and it actually turned out way better than the other side. Of course, I don't know why I tried to do it in the other way, but live and learn. Do the steps in the opposite order and you'll get better results. Basically what I'm trying to say. I think we can probably go back and forth a little bit more as we go because Water Bearer is a bit of a touchy shade. It's full of pigment, but it just likes to sort of dust off, as you know matte shades will do. And like if you're trying to really pack it on the lid, you're gonna need to go back and forth anyway. So we'll probably do that as this video goes on, but for the most part that is kind of where I wanted it to be today. We're gonna continue with the blue theme and go into this metallic teal shade, which I believe is called Mermaid Boy. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take that on my finger and just pack that onto the lid to sort of transition into the next metallic shade, which is going on the very inner portion of the lid. You know, this isn't turning into the trash fire that I thought it was going to be, and I'm not actually experiencing like any fallout. Of course, the one time I don't have any fallout with this palette is when I don't do my foundation. I reinforced Spark a little bit just to make the transition shade just a bit more vibrant because I don't want to lose the coral. I like the tones together, the contrasting tones. And yes, it was a bitch to blend, and it would have been nicer if I had a deeper, more purple transition shade, which I have in my collection, but that's not what this series is about. So the very last shade in this palette that I'm going to use on my face, although I might just hit my brow bone with this actually later, but the last sort of more punchy shade I'm going to dive into is this guy. Look how cool this freaking shade is. This shade is called Kaleidoscope. It's brown and also ice blue. It's a crazy shade and I think it'll pair perfectly with the mermaidy teal look we've got going on already. In order to get the most out of this shade, I'm gonna go in with my Smashbox primer water and foil the shit out of it. All the metallic shades in this palette have really great payoff. None of them are disappointing. And I think I'm just going to pop this on the inner third. Perhaps I spoke too soon. I think I'm gonna do just a little bit of glitter glue where I want this shade to pop the most because I'm not getting the payoff that I want yet. Now I'm going to go back with this shade. Way better. It's almost a soft cut crease. Just to blend these shades together a little bit better, I'm gonna go back in with Mermaid Boy. Okay, I think to finish everything off, I'm just going to take a small pencil brush and dip into Moony over here, which is that nude sort of semi, you know, satin shade. And I'm just gonna pop that onto the brow bone. Okay, it's actually way prettier than I thought it would be. It looks kind of like nothing in the pan, but wow, okay. Sure, that was a nice surprise. I've never used this shade before. So until we get back to the lower lash line, this is it for eyeshadow, and I think we've accomplished using every single shade in this palette, which I am super proud of myself for doing. It's such a stupid little goal. I feel really accomplished right now. I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to do some liner, and I'm going to do some lashes, and then I'm going to come back and do the foundation and all of that and see if this look all comes together in the end. All right, be right back. Bad eyeliner happens to good people, folks. Time to clean this up. All right, we are back. I ended up just doing my foundation and my concealer and my powder because, let's face it, the steps haven't changed. I haven't changed anything in my skin routine. The very first video on my channel actually goes much more in depth about my foundation and base routine, so I tend to skip it. If I do ever update my routine, or if I'm trying something new, like a new foundation or a new concealer, I will absolutely do another video and let you guys in on what I'm testing out. But for the most part, I'm sticking with my usual routine because it works. Until I run out of products, I will stick to that for now. I also went ahead and did my liner and lashes. The liner was not my best. Is it ever my best? You know, the best liner I actually did in the last few days or so was for an audition, and I did that liner at 7 a.m. I had to go to a dance call at 9 a.m. My wings were just like shoo shoo. So easy, done. Like, I didn't even have to go back and retouch anything. It's fine. The lashes sort of make up for it. I ended up resurrecting some lashes from the dead tonight. These lashes are by Makeup Forever. They are called Lash Show Natural Impact. They are so easy to put on. They have a very thin band, so they're just so easy to apply, and they mesh so well with your natural lashes that some people have asked me if these were my real lashes. I mean, those people might also have a few screws loose, but we'll just leave it at that. But I just love how like winged out and wispy and perfect these lashes are. I'm just an enormous fan of these lashes, so if they still make these, I would recommend them for sure, especially for beginner lashers, because I was not the greatest at applying lashes from day one. I mean, is anyone? If you are, you're a freak of nature. Also, I'm jealous of you. They're in the style N404. We're just gonna do the same steps that I normally do. I'm just gonna take butter bronzer and then a little Kevin Aquan just to give my face some warmth and some definition. I don't want this look to be too orangey. I might do a bit of hula, just like a little bit, if I like it. Now I know why like beauty gurus wear hats in all their tutorials, because who wants to do their hair every time they have to do a video? Like, not me. What am I gonna do for highlighter today? Because there's so many options. There is the obvious Master Chrome, which would go with the pink in this look. Or we could go in with Smoke and Whistles, which is a Super Shock. I'm gonna take Super Shock first. It has like a pink tone to it. Yeah, it's really pretty. Now that I've done my makeup sort of all out of sorts, I am feeling like I am forgetting like several things. Half a blush, something corally, Avi. I'm just gonna put a little bit of blush in the temples today too. I mean, have I put on too much? Probably. Do I care? No. Just slapped on a couple freckles, nose highlight. Let's take that Super Shock cheek again. And I'm gonna throw that into the inner corner. I am just like, I'm all over the place. I forgot to put blush on my nose, which I think this look would look really cute with. My nose is a tiny bit tender from changing out my nose jewelry. Taking my Master Chrome in Molten Rose Gold and just layering that. I'm gonna go back into Spark here, which is that coral shade, on this sort of more smudgy brush, and really go to town. when you have pouchy, baggy eyes like I do, you really just have to embrace it and, you know, just bring your lower lash line really the fuck too far down your face. I'm gonna go back in with Water Bearer and really smoke that out. To finish off my eyes, I'm just going to take my NYX retractable eyeliner in aqua green and line my waterline. I wanted to use this blue star glitter that I have, and I thought it would look really good, just like me, boop boop, right there and there. Okay, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my MAC Luster lipstick in Lustering and just throw this on. And because I think that's a bit too bright, I'm gonna matte it down a bit. I'm gonna take the Kathleen Lights and Colourpop Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade Moonchild, and I'm just gonna go over that. Which kind of basically looks like I didn't put anything on, but oh well. And of course, we'll set. Alright guys, and that is it. That is the completed look for today's video, and what will probably be the last video in the Kathleen Lights Colourpop Dream Street palette chapter of Get the Most Out of Your Palette. For such a small palette, it packs a lot of punch. As you can tell, we've definitely tested its limits from the very natural to the supernatural, and I was able to get really, really creative. I am super impressed with the versatility of this little guy. I think it performed really, really exceptionally. Again, the metallics in this palette are really creamy and buttery. They're really easy to apply. You can just dab them on with a finger, or you can go in with a packing brush and foil it with some spray. The only metallic shade I would say in this palette that didn't have as much longevity as the other ones, as far as wearability is concerned, would be Sweet Dreams, which is this one right here. It's really gorgeous, and we used it in the second look, and it turned out beautifully on the lid. However, I did notice that when I took my lashes off for the evening, a lot of that gold metallic shade had just fallen right onto my lashes. So it didn't last as long as any of the other metallics in this palette, but if that is my only gripe, then I think this palette is still worth the money. This also retails for a shit ton less than most palettes you're going to find. This is a perfect starter palette for anyone looking to have a wide range of options. So should you buy this palette? If you don't have any palettes in your collection at all, yes, definitely get this palette. It is, again, a great starter palette. Now, if you already have a lot of shades like this in your collection, I would say maybe skip it, but these metallics are really unique and cool and special. This is such a great way to encourage yourself to explore the really possibly cool and unique products that you already have that you may have forgotten about. And especially if you gravitate toward the same sort of eye look every single day, and you sort of turn a blind eye toward like the pops of color that you already own in your palettes, go back to that palette, like take it out, look at like the colors that you've never even touched with a brush, and go, okay, like before I take out my wallet and spend another $50 on a palette that I might only use the warm tone neutral shades, maybe I could start like exploring this purple or this yellow that like I've never even touched. And you might be surprised to find that like upon reintroduction you might not even feel the need to buy something new. Moving forward, I want to only fill the gaps in the collection that I feel I don't have already. So maybe single shadows instead of big palettes that I might already have dupes for. I'm really pleased with the first palette that I chose to start off this project with, and now I'm really, really excited to see where else this project takes me. I have a few palettes in my collection worth exploring. Jaclyn Hill, the Peachy Mattes palette. I'm bringing this back from the dead, but I have the Tarte Graveyard Girl Swamp Queen palette. Modern Ren, which like we haven't seen on YouTube in a hot minute. The Sweet Peach palette. I mean, take your pick. I would love to know which palette you would like me to explore next in this series, because we got a bunch. And of course, some of them might take longer than others. The Jaclyn Hill palette's gonna take a while. I want to know how you felt this palette performed in this series. Did you think it was worth the money? Did you think I got as much out of it as I could have? Are you satisfied with the performance of the palette? Please let me know. I wonder if like all my other palettes are going to be a letdown from here. I don't know. Like, oh, I think I've said enough. I'm, as always, running late, so I am going to head out the door. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends, have a beer. If you want to leave a comment below, just tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you think of what we've done so far and what we are going to do. Also, if you enjoyed what you saw today, please hit the like button. That helps me out a great deal, I hear. If this face is something you want to see more on a regular basis, why don't you just come on, join our little corner of the YouTube universe, the YouTube galaxy. Also, I don't have an uploading schedule yet. I upload when I can and as often as I can, but that's not on schedule. So if you would like to be notified every time I upload, please hit the little bell icon that will give you a notification every time I upload a video. Please be kind and be generous to everyone you meet out there in the world today, and hopefully I will see you on the next one. Bye. I'm gonna go sing some musical theater tunes with my friends and have a couple beers. Yeah.